with Intention podcast where we bring you stories from around the globe. Hello and welcome to another episode on Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. And today I have a beautiful guest with me, Amy Au. Welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
Very good. Thank you, Ewell. It's so nice to be here with you.
Thank you so much. And please tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? And anything else you'd like to add to the intro?
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Amy L. I'm executive coach at Innovate U. I locate in near Toronto in Ontario in Canada. And I've been living here for many, many years. I don't even want to count how many. But I grew up in Hong Kong and immigrated to Canada. When I was in teenage, I came to study. So I love what I do, and I'm sure that we're going to get into how I became a coach as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this chat.
Awesome. Well, that's wonderful. I am from Europe, but I also came here many, many years ago. So we have something similar. We had to leave family behind just to be in another country. You have a beautiful picture of the book behind you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Your coaching journey is also very incredible and inspiring. What sparked your passion for empowering women, executives, and professionals to unlock their potential?
Well, definitely it came back from how I started my career, right? I have been in IT for the entire career for over 25 years. And throughout those years that I firsthand really experienced the challenges as a woman in a more male-dominated industry. So have always had really great people around me and great mentors, but at the same time, I still had a lot of challenges I had to overcome. And over the years, I realized that it wasn't so much about like where you came from or how you study and how well you're doing the job, but just being a woman, that culture within that industry is still not inviting enough through my early years, and also that we don't have enough role models to help it to see where we can go. So as I finished my career in IT, well, I finished because I decided that there is something more I can do as a coach, that I can focus on helping more women in STEM leaders to use their natural uniqueness and their values that they can bring to the table to reach beyond what they believe that they can themselves. So this gave me a mission, and also it's my passion to do so now because I see the need is still there. As I talk to a lot of women in the industry, and with my experience, with now my coaching skills, that I see the impact firsthand. Working with clients that are initially perhaps had completely lost their confidence, to gain back that confidence and be able to take actions and bring something to life, and that the joy that I got is tremendous. So I do feel the what I'm doing now is really impactful, and that has the ripple effect as well. It's not just for one person, but the person also will impact the people around them, and they can lead better teams. They can help others to become better leaders themselves.
Wow, that's amazing. The work that you do. So, what would you say out of all that is one of the most challenging um, challenges that the women face? And can you tell us maybe a technique, one of your techniques, that you use to help them with that challenge?
Mhm, mhm. A lot of times that we do hear women with the imposter syndrome, and it is very real. Regardless, there I've heard debate about whether this exists or not. To me, the imposter syndrome is really about that you have all the abilities, you have the capabilities, but you still feel that you are lacking. You still don't have that confidence to do what you are capable of. And why a lot of women do face that is that we do tend to attend to other people's needs first. Women just naturally think for others and seldom think for themselves first. So what that leads to is that over the years, as we develop our careers, as we climb the ladder, so to speak, we forget that we need to advocate for ourselves. And slowly that muscles of like self-promoting, that self-advocate is getting weaker and weaker. And to the point where we feel like even though we have achieved so much, that we are not enough. So that's where the imposter syndrome comes from. And that's a lot of things that stem from that and is hindering the progress of women in their career and also in life. So what I do in particular, like with clients, and everybody's different, but a lot of times is to really bring that awareness to the forefront that they need to embrace what they already have and celebrate what they have already achieved because they're busy doing a lot of things. They forget that they have already achieved so much and they don't stop and celebrate. They don't give themselves room to look back and see how amazing the things that they have done already. And they lots of time is that they give credits to other people. Not that they shouldn't be, applauding the teamwork. That's all doing well together. Collaboration is key, but they forget themselves being an important part of it. So that way having that awareness that get to the point where they see they have already achieved a lot, they already have a lot of potential within, that is the key starting point.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And that is true. Sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit, and being a mom and doing so many other things. I know sometimes I also forget. That's why it's good to every day practice certain things like journaling, maybe meditation, and celebrating those small wins because it all adds up at the end. So that's definitely
Exactly.
very important.
Yeah.
So congratulations on becoming international best-selling author. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Your book, Evolution of Leadership in STEM, Women Catalyzing Change. So it highlights your expertise. What message or insight are you most excited to share from this book? If you can tell us a little bit about that, please.
Mhm. Absolutely. Well, the title of my chapter is really about embracing change and say yes to your career, a unique path of success, right? And so what it really means to me is that I have all along find for myself to embrace change is the best way to face any challenges, right? That builds my muscle with resilience as well. So, what I really want my readers to recognize is that, yes, we're going to have a lot of hurdles as we face change a lot of times, as we know, like change is the only constant. But when we face change, if instead of afraid of the change will bring us negative results or to have hurdles so high that we feel like we cannot go over, just think of it, embracing that change is just to let it come to you and see other options when you are calm and be able to have an open mind. You can find paths that you never thought you could walk, or doors would open that you never thought that even exist. So I want people to know that as they read my chapter, to understand my journey and how I see embracing change has helped me, that they can do the same thing as well. And they can achieve much higher, much farther as they wish.
Awesome. You speak also about leveraging creative thinking pathways. How do you activate creativity in clients who feel stuck or limited in their problem solving?
Yeah. Well, this is something that I love really. just being natural to me that I need to have myself in some creative space, right? So all like from the get-go, like I find myself most happy or like in that happy space when I can create something new or create something different. Whether it's for my personal like activities or just in at work, that I don't like to have repetitive work, so to speak, right? And so using that mentality and I feel like that I need to create something new or try different things every time allows me to have that pathways open more easier than others maybe. What I like is that I take inspiration from around me. It doesn't have to be, okay, I'm going to sit down for a creative session, but actually, I try to observe from my surroundings and just looking at different things to stimulate my thinking sometimes, even unrelated thoughts that comes to it, and just let it come. And, that you can save and use it for at some point. Um, One thing that I would like to share with people is that even just like when you're sitting in the car, looking out, looking at the clouds, and imagine what shapes and forms and what stories that the clouds is telling, is a way to stimulate your creativity as well. And that doesn't cost much of time or cost you anything to do. Just a little tidbit on that. But on a serious note, when I work with my client, when I need to help them to think differently, I often use different methods, such as putting themselves in a different character, putting themselves into the other person's shoes, to look at it from a different angle, to look at it from a different perspective, and try help them to um, be a different character for a moment, or be in a different time space for a moment, to imagine what could be like right in the future 10 years later, or what it could look like if she or he is being a different person, right, with a different hats on. That often, I would say 99.9%, um, spark some new ideas from the person, not from me, it's from that person. And it is because that when they loosen up to think that they can take on a different role, they can look at it from a different angle, it opens up so much space that they can come up with ideas that never thought they could. And it's an amazing exchange. And then when I work with my clients, that's one of the way that I find to help them is to not get stuck within themselves, their shell, or the only angle that they have been looking at certain scenarios, right?
Mhm.
So that's really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely helps us to expand our horizons and see things from a different angle, like you've seen. That's why I love Dr. Wayne Dyer's quote, when you change the way you look at things, things change, right?
Absolutely.
And it's just kind of sparks new things in you because, we are so, many days you wake up, do the same thing over again, you go to work, whether you enjoy your work or not, it's tends to be repetitive, and then and then you repeat the cycle again. So I believe it's very good to practice these kind of things where you really like zoom in, stretch your brain, your muscles, right?
Yeah.
I love studying Dr. Joe Dispenza right now, and he talks about that too, stretching that mindset, seeing new possibilities, make it
Mhm.
exciting, I myself, I get bored a lot, like when I start doing the same thing over and
Yeah.
over again, and I'm like, okay, I got to change things, you got to look at something different, do something different, take yourself into a different environment. Like some of my coaches, when I was studying at the beginning, they have exercises too when you do step into a different character or something like that. So it
Yeah.
definitely does
Yeah.
help because I've tried those techniques too, and they're very, very beneficial. Yeah.
Mhm. Definitely.
So you've guided many leaders to career advancement. What one common trait you've observed in successful leaders, and how can others cultivate it?
Mhm. One of the key traits that I do see is the continuous learning mindset. When a person is seeing that they can learn, they can change the way they think and continue to improve, that's when the person have an open mind, they have that growth mentality, so then they can achieve whatever they set themselves up for, right? That is one key trait. Of course, there are many other leadership skills that is necessary, but I think that really the learning mindset, the continuous learning mindset, that helps a lot of leaders to grow. And also they inspire others right around them, like to lead their teams. And it's not just about talking about it, but actually have actions, right? So this is one trait that I find that is commonly shown and in leaders, that they realize they embrace that. They always keep on learning and not thinking that they have to have all the answers, right? They might not know everything, and that nobody really knows everything. And so they can learn it from their younger team members, as well as people that have way more experience than them. They can learn anywhere and in from anybody as well.
Mhm. So your coaching superpowers are intuitive empathy, energizing connections, and stimulating creativity, amongst many, are very intriguing. Can you share a real life example of how these strengths have transformed a client's journey, perhaps?
Mm, very good question. One of the things that I do proud of myself doing quite well is to be able to connect with other human beings. That very quickly I can build trust and connect with person more deeply. Um, Helps me to understand the perspective from the individuals. That helps me to help them themselves. So as a coach, so one of the example that I can give you is a person was quite lost, honestly, when the person came to me, didn't have any motivation, didn't have any ideas what the person wanted to go next step. And first, I helped the person to go back and dig deep and to finding what they're truly passionate about, what that really motivates the person, that gives the person joy. It doesn't have to be related to the work or the career profession that person is actually in, but be able to discover that again really sparks that life, that energy from that person within. So doing an exercise of finding that and then nurture that, be able to find actions that they can take, just one small step um, at a time, right? Like, and it's the next day the person can do just one little thing that person can do, empowers them again that they are in control, they can make things happen. And that allows the person to reignite that passion and gives that person the hope that the person was able to then start taking actions again and find and navigate the path that the person wanted to take. And it completely changed the person within, if I remember, it was like two sessions, the person came back and said, now that she had that energy again, she knows where to go. That really it just touched me a lot as well, and that's the very reason why I wanted to do what I do now. That impact is real, and that like leads to, you know, the even better things as it goes along, and finding the right path, the person find the right path, that the person wanted to take is really important. And yeah, so that's one of the examples I think of.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. So,
Yeah.
your mission definitely is to create positive impact for a brighter future, one leader at a
Mhm.
time. So, what
Mhm.
legacy do you hope to leave through your work as a coach, mentor, and leader?
I never really think of like leaving a legacy as much, right? Maybe I should, but I haven't really thought about that. I also just know that as long as I'm making a difference in other people's life, that I can help the person that's most in need to get to where they want to be and be proud of who they are and be able to use their authentic self to do their work as a leader, to make the change that they need to change, right? Leading that change with confidence to bring their teams to achieve higher goals. I think that I have done my job, and that would be really what I want. I hope the best for as other people, that they can use their own skills and be able to reach where they want to go. And things do change, right? And people will face obstacles. It's not to say that it's always a smooth ride, but if I have helped them to recognize that they can overcome the challenges and then continue on. Just like when you're climbing the mountain, like in rock climbing, for example, that if it's a smooth surface, you cannot get on it. You cannot go higher, right? It's just too slippery. There has to be bumps along the way, but the bumps actually helps you to move, propel up, right?
Exactly.
So that's where I find this is what I need to do now, at least at this stage of my life.
Wow. You're you are definitely making a difference, and I love that. So passionate about that.
Thank you.
So the name of the podcast is Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. How important do you think it is to set intentions first thing in the morning?
I do feel this is the key, right? As for anybody to have intention, because as like the example I gave you, the person that I coach, initially that was completely lost, and there was no uh, will to even get up, right? So when you get to that point, that is really really sad, and it is upsetting for me as well to hear and a person cannot drive themselves up, right? And so what I like to set intention for myself is that I know there is something that I can do to make a difference for the day. Now, of course, I have schedules, I have work that I know I need to do for the day, but that's not the intention. The intention is that I need to get up is because there's something I can do and make a difference. It could be for myself, it can be for others. And ideally, it's for making the world better, one person at a time, one thing at a time. That I do truly believe that we can, as a human together, can make a huge difference to make a better future for ourselves, for next generations. So there is the mission there, right? And that's my intention, is to get up every day and do something that I can make an impact, big or small. Sometimes it's tiny, 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 just to making a person that I interacted with happy.
Wow,
That's enough,
yeah,
right?
that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Amy. And it's been a pleasure to have you here on the podcast. And once again, for our listeners, if you'd like to get in touch with us, all the information will be posted in this video. So thank you so much, Amy, for being here with us today. And thank you so much for all the wisdom you have shared. And I look forward to reading more chapters in this book as well. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Iwa, and it's my pleasure to be with you, and it's really enjoyed the talk.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Thank you.